Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for tuning in to spend some time with me today. I am sharing a really fun and really special triple paleo chocolate cake with you. Easy ingredients, you probably already have everything right in your pantry and your fridge, and it is a breeze to make. So March is actually my birthday month, and in just a couple of weeks, I'm gonna be celebrating my 43rd trip around the sun. Ever since my husband and I were first married about 15 years ago, he started this little tradition that he wanted to make sure that I had a very special cake that we could eat on my birthday. For the first 7 or 8 years, this was a very easy task for him. He could go to any bakery and pick up a cake. He could grab any recipe online and he could make his own cake. Or if it came down to it and he was pressed for time, he could also just go to the store and grab a box cake mix. Things got a little bit more difficult for him though about 7 years ago when I decided to change my diet and go with a more keto paleo way of eating. So this year I thought that I would do him and the kids a very big favor and just come up with a recipe of my own that was completely foolproof and that they could use every other year. I have tested this recipe a few times in the past month and it is absolute perfection. It's rich, it's decadent, it's moist, it's so chocolatey, and it will 100% be a staple for me anytime I need to whip up a cake for anything. One of the times that I tested this recipe out was just last month when a group of friends came over to celebrate one of our neighbors' birthdays. It was a huge hit and nobody even suspected that it was keto or low carb. Ready to make a delicious paleo chocolate cake? Let's dive in.
As with most keto and paleo baking, you're going to start out with some almond flour. Just add 3 cups to a medium-sized bowl. Then you'll need 1 cup of arrowroot flour. This starch lightens up the texture of the cake and gives it some structure. Then you will also need a 1/4 cup of coconut flour. This will help keep the cake nice and moist. Now you need your sweetener. I'm using stevia here because I wanted to keep this a little bit lower in carbs, but coconut sugar will work also and is perfect for paleo baking. Since this is a chocolate cake, you will also need to add cocoa powder. I'm using a raw dark cacao powder which is rich in polyphenols and antioxidants. Add some baking soda and a bit of salt which will help bring out the sweetness and the rich flavors in the cake. Then you just need to whisk this up. You really want to get all of those dry ingredients incorporated together. You got to make sure all of that chocolatey goodness is distributed everywhere. With the dry ingredients ready to go, let's work on the wet ingredients. This starts with 4 eggs in a separate bowl. They're rich in omega-3s and provide a ton of vitamins and minerals like vitamin D, folate, B12, iron, iodine, and phosphorus. Just 1 cup of your preferred milk. I'm using unsweetened cashew milk. And 1 cup of freshly brewed and cooled coffee. The stronger, the better. And a few big spoonfuls of vanilla extract. To make this extra moist, I also prefer using oil in my cakes instead of butter. I love avocado oil because it's neutral in taste and it's loaded with health benefits like oleic acid and lutein, which is great for your eyes. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. This will help aerate and fluff up the cake. It also activates the baking soda. Then just mix this up really well. You'll start to see it get light and frothy. Now you just need to combine your wet and dry ingredients. Slowly add your dry mixture to your wet mixture in a few different batches. Mix shortly in between each addition. Mixing in batches helps keep the cake light and fluffy with a great crumb texture. And you want to mix long enough just to get everything incorporated, not a moment longer. And of course, I wanted even more chocolate, so I also added some dark chocolate chips. Just fold this together and let it sit for a couple of minutes while you prepare your pans and get your oven preheated to 350 degrees. Anytime I bake cakes, I like to use parchment paper on the bottom of each pan to make sure that not a single crumb sticks. There is nothing worse than trying to fight to get your cakes out nice and clean, and the parchment will just ensure that you get it out all at one time. Now just pour in your batter. I like to use a measured cup to pour just to make sure that both cakes are perfectly even. Tap the pans just a bit to get rid of any air bubbles, and then these will go into the oven to bake for about 25 to 28 minutes. While your cakes are baking, it's time to make some frosting. You will need some butter and a couple of teaspoons of vanilla extract. Whip these up together for just about 30 seconds until the butter is nice and softened and creamy. Then add in your sweetener. I'm using powdered stevia again to keep the carbs a little bit lower, but powdered coconut sugar will work just as great. And of course, more chocolate because this is a triple chocolate cake. I also like to add a couple of tablespoons of heavy cream or coconut cream if you're making this paleo. This is going to lighten up the frosting and bring out the best richness. Just mix this up until the frosting is light and fluffy. You'll want this at room temperature so it spreads nice and even on your cakes. All right, we're in the home stretch now. Once the cakes have been removed from the oven and cooled, it's time to build your cake. Remove one cake from the pan and place it on your cake plate or cake stand. Then divide and add on all of that gorgeous frosting. Truth be told, I'm actually not a huge fan of frosting. I much prefer eating the actual cake, so I like to leave my edges bare. I find this provides a better cake to frosting ratio for me personally. If frosting is your favorite part of the cake though, then go ahead and frost all of it. And done. Cake is gorgeous and ready to be enjoyed. I don't think it needs anything, but I did think twice about adding some chocolate shavings right on top to make this extra special, maybe for my birthday.
I mean, you cannot look at this cake and not want to dive right in. I promise you, bake this cake just one time and you will fall in love. This will absolutely become your go-to cake recipe. If you do make this cake, I would love it if you came back to this video and let me know in the comments down below how you liked it. Also, if you like this video and want to see more of these healthy recipes, I would love it if you just gave me that thumbs up. If you'd like a printable copy of this recipe or any of the recipes that I've shared, then please be sure that you check the description box and grab the link to my blog down below. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Next week, I am sharing a video that I am really excited about. It's unlike anything I've ever shared on this channel before, but something that I promise you is gonna change your life. Be sure to hit those notifications so that you don't miss it. All right, friends, I will see you next week.